بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we send our peace and blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. On the 14th and the 15th of May marked the 70-year anniversary of the Nakba. The Nakba is described by the Palestinians as a catastrophic day. It is the day in which Israel basically drove the Palestinians out of their homes, kicked them out and said, hang on, listen Palestinians, we don't want you in this piece of land and we're going to take it from you, it belongs to us. And so they created the state of Israel. And on Monday we witnessed the deadliest day the people of Gaza has ever witnessed since the war in 2014, in which over 60 people have died and in the thousands were injured by the Israeli forces attacking them during their peaceful protests. Now one might think, where is Allah Azza wa Jal? 70 years of oppression. Where's God? Does He exist? Can't He see what's going on? So I wanted to take these few moments just to clarify a few things. So I'm using the Aqidah book that we are using to study at university. It's called Al-Aqidah Al-Islamiyya, and the author is Dr. Ibrahim Ahmed Adibo. He's a Syrian author. He is living here in Turkey. I find this book a fairly simple book in Aqidah that helps to clarify a few things here and there. It doesn't go into too much detail, but it's a great beginner's book. First of all, we need to establish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the just. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, ذَلِكَ بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَاللَّهُ لَيْسَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. So this is from what your hands have put forward, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not an oppressor towards the servants. And in a very famous hadith narrated in Imam Nawawi's 40 hadith, in the hadith Qudsi, in which Allah Azza wa Jal says, يَا عِبَادِي إِنِّي حَرَّمْتُ الظُّلْمَ عَلَى نَفْسِي وَجَعَلْتُهُ بَيْنَكُمْ مُحَرَّمًا فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this hadith, I have made oppression prohibited on me, and I have also made oppression prohibited amongst all of you, so do not oppress one another. So from these hadith that we hear and from these verses that we hear, we can gather that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just and He never oppresses. Okay, then why on earth do we see people dying from starvation, people dying from oppression for such a long time? Where is the justice in this? Why hasn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taken justice for the Muslims? Before we go into that, we need to establish a few things. The first thing that we need to establish is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the human being free will. And what I mean by free will is that you have the ability to think, to choose what you want to do with your actions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not forcing you to do anything. So this irada, this ability to choose what you want to do as a human being, it comes as a complete package that you are able to oppress. What's the point of having free will if you can only do what is good? If there was nothing called bad, then you no longer have free will, you're only doing what is good, and then you become like the malaika, you become like the angels, in which they can only do good. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the free will, so we can choose between what is good and what is bad. And this free will is a complete package. It doesn't just come by itself like that, it also comes with the fact that people will choose the bad, people will choose to oppress, people will choose to kill others, people will choose to steal money. And this is the whole idea of free will. So now that we have this established, this is when the test comes in. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us this free will. That's the whole point of the test. So which one will you choose, being on the good path or on the bad path? So it's up to you, and you can only do that by having the free will. The final point that I want to mention is something to do with justice in this world. Now, when we were studying this, the Sheikh actually mentioned to us an example. He gave us an example of something that happens in this world, so we can get the idea closer to our minds. And of course, no example in this world will ever come close to the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he says, how many times in this world is a person incarcerated, he is taken into jail, he's taken into prison for a particular matter.
then later on it appears that this person is not guilty and he is freed from prison and he is allowed to go. Using the latest example in Malaysia, we have the example of Anwar Ibrahim, who was locked up for so many years under the previous government, and now with the new government he is pardoned and he is leaving prison, and he is expected to be the leader, right? He is expected to be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Now this, in an idea, we say he received his justice, right? Even though he went through that period of time when he was incarcerated, when he was in prison, okay, we still refer to it as justice. You see, this world is not the only thing that we believe in. We also believe in the hereafter. So yes, someone might be oppressed in this world, but he will receive his justice, whether it happens in this world or in the hereafter. This is where we differ from the atheists. So the atheists, they believe that there is no hereafter, so the justice must happen in this world, whereas we believe as Muslims that no, justice will happen, if not in this world, then in the hereafter. The very last thing that I want to mention is a verse that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, in which He says, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ لِيَوْمٍ تَشْخَصُ فِيهِ الْأَبْصَارِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't ever allow something to cross your mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is heedless of what's happening about the oppressors in this world. Rather, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is delaying their punishment to a day in which is very scary. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us, to bless you. Ramadan Mubarak to you and your family. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you and your family. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the whole ummah through this blessed month. Ramadan Mubarak. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.